All right, good morning, all my high flyers out there. Welcome to another session. My name is Patrick France here at VectorVest. Glad to be with you all. Glad to be bringing you guys a new session here, live stream today. Hopefully, you guys are ready to learn, ready to make some money. What we're going to be talking about is something that we got a lot of comments on last week. A lot of people were worried because some stocks were selling off. We see the markets continuing to sell off as we speak. So I figured it would be a good time to talk about, now that the market's selling off, how to identify when that bottom comes in and when you should start taking advantage of it. When you should start, dipping your toes back into the water, getting back in to some long stocks, find some, especially tech stocks may be oversold. So, there may be some buying opportunities with those. Before we get started, if you guys can hear me, just let me know in the chat there in the comments. That you guys can see everything, the sound's coming through good for you guys. Once we have confirmation of that, we'll go ahead and dive right into today. Now also, why we're waiting on that, hopefully, last week we talked about a lot of the tech stocks, especially Tesla, which was a big headline there, selling off. Hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that, make some money over the last few days, because, our guidance has been telling us that the market's been showing signs of weakness. We've seen that, and hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of it, make some money, add a little bit extra pocket change to your trading account there. Awesome. So thank you all. Everybody's saying yes. Awesome. Perfect. Glad to hear it. Glad you guys are all doing well. Glad everybody is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For anybody that's just tuning in for the first time, my name is Patrick France. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. Every Thursday, I go live here on Facebook where I talk about, what's going on in the market. Then we'll talk about a general topic. Today, we're going to be showing you how to use the app to be able to identify bottoms. And then we'll move into the fan favorite at the very end, where we'll show you how to analyze any stock that you want to take a look at in less than 20 seconds. So if you're new, make sure to stick around to the end. That way we can show you exactly how the analysis works and how easy it can really make your life. First time subscriber, awesome. Welcome, Saeed. Max here. Awesome. Glad to have you all here. Welcome once again. If you're new here, let me know, because I do try to cater to both new users that are just getting started with the app, but also people that have been with us for a while. Really, anybody that wants to learn how to improve their investing, how to make money in the market, how to, be more successful, or, set yourself up for becoming financially independent. That's what we're here about, or that's what we're here for. Awesome. First time, seeing a lot of first time people. So welcome everybody. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. Frank is asking, not sure I'm following you on that one, Frank. I'm going to skip over that for right now. Awesome. So glad to see all the new people here. If you guys enjoy yourself, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to turn on notifications on the VectorVest Facebook page. That way you get updated every time we go live, or anything that we do. You guys stay in touch with that. Awesome. Glad to have you, Eric. Just starting to use the premium. Well, you're in the right spot at the right time. So with that, let's go ahead. What we'll do is we'll jump in, take a look at what's going on here today, and then start to move forward here with our live stream so far. 1 month now, learning a lot. Awesome, Dana. Welcome. So as always, we always start off at the very top center with the gauge there, which tells us one of two things. Either it's okay to buy or it's not okay to buy. As you can see right now, the market is somewhat bearish, and VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. Now, since we got a lot of new people here, a lot of first timers, I will make sure everybody's on the same page with that. When you see this, it doesn't matter what the stock has, whether it has a buy, hold, or sell rating on it. When it says any stock, that means any stock, no matter what the rating is on it. The only exception that you could possibly do would be a contra ETF, because that's an ETF, not a stock. I'm not going to get into that whole discussion right now. But when you see it says do not buy any stock, that is saying no matter what the rating is, don't buy any stock. Hopefully that clarifies it, especially in market sell-offs. That question comes up a lot. A lot of people get nervous about that. So just wanted to, throw that out there. Make sure everybody's on the same page. So VectorVest, especially the mobile app, if you're just on the app, since it comes with 15-minute delay, is perfect for swing trading, end of day, long-term investing. If you're day trading, you really want real time, and that you got to use the desktop app for. All right, so we see the market somewhat bearish. We dive right in, take a look at the color guard. So the price is up day over day, but still down week over week. RT finally staying below 1, telling us the short-term trend is down. Buy to sell ratio below 1, telling us less stocks are participating in the market. There's not a lot of strength in the market. There's definitely some weakness here, which should be no surprise there. And then the MTI, looking at the underlying trend, cast on a scale of 0 to 2. At 1.04, it is up day over day, but still lower week over week. You can see the weekly move dropping from 1.51 all the way down to 1.04, telling us that we're not only, losing momentum, but we're losing momentum very quickly. Then we look at the trend. We're in a down-up situation. So therefore, the short-term trend or the weekly trend of the market is down, but the underlying trend still remains up, but just barely if we look at the MTI being at 1.04. Then our calls column, which stands for our confirmed calls, the most conservative timing system we have here at VectorVest, still remains in the up situation. Now, by conservative, I mean it's going to be the last signal we get to get into the market and also our last signal we get to get out. So therefore, we never want to ignore a confirmed call change. Gold is asking, is this a bubble? So gold, I don't think it's necessarily a bubble. We can, everybody has their own opinions, but I really wouldn't call it a bubble. I would just say tech is the only place that was still open throughout the whole lockdowns, pandemic, and they made out pretty good doing that. So I don't think it's a bubble necessarily. I think it was just the only trading or only stocks that looked enticing at the time. And so they got a little ahead of themselves. And with that, with the stock that runs up that much, you're definitely going to see some pullbacks or some profit taking. And the stocks that are the most overbought are going to have the bigger pullbacks when the market does sell off. So I wouldn't say it's a bubble. I would just say simply, they got a little ahead of themselves, and because they were so overvalued, people are definitely locking in their profits, which is going to make that drop seem more severe. So Art, if you have the desktop, you get the app included. If you have the app, it doesn't come with the desktop. So using the Stock Advisor app, what is the best way to spot good swing trade opportunities? So Avanesh, we've definitely done a lot of videos on swing trading. For anybody that's new as well, if you ever want to go back and take a look at our live session here today or any sessions that we've done in the past, you can go to the live section on our Facebook page and you can see a history of all the ones that we've done. We've done a lot of different videos on swing trading, different styles, different tips, what to use, what may be better for you. So if you're interested in that, I'm not going to get into that today, but definitely go check out some of those videos. All right. If you have questions about, different products and all that, just give our supporter call. That's the best thing I can tell you. I don't have all the things in front of me right now, but just give our supporter call. They can talk about it with you. All right. So as we scroll down, as always, we like to take a look at the advanced declines. So as we all know, the markets were a lot higher at the open this morning. But when we take a look at the app, we take a look at the advanced declines, what we're looking for is a 2-to-1 bias in either direction. So if the market's moving higher, we want to see twice as many stocks advancing than declining. Or if the market's moving lower, we want to see twice as many stocks declining than advancing. So right now we're 47% advances, 40% decliners, clearly not a 2-to-1 bias that we like to see. Therefore, we'd be holding off anyways, even though the market was up earlier this morning, we'd simply be holding off, waiting for a better buying opportunity. But then we take a look at the major indices. Dow's up about 0.1%, Nasdaq's up about 0.6%, S&P's up 0.2%. Overall, the VectorVest composite is up about 1/3%. And for anybody not familiar with the VectorVest composite is an arithmetic indexed average of 8,300 stocks in the US market that we track. We feel this gives us a better representation on what's actually happening in the market because it's not just looking at the Dow's 30 or the Nasdaq's 100 or the S&P's 500, but it's looking at 8,300 stocks. So this, something you won't see on the news or won't see, the talking heads on TV talking about, but it is something that, will give you a edge in the market, especially as an investor or a trader. We are in a bullish market now. Just the last few days, it was just bearish. So I definitely recommend to go check out what we're talking about on our weekly reports because by definition, we are not in a bull market right now. We are still in a bear market. I was thinking about doing that topic actually today, talking about the bearish market or the bear market that we're in. But earnings is down, earnings is trending lower, and earnings is one of the key things to identify a bull or a bear market. So with that, with the earnings being down, continuing to move lower, this is not a bull market that we're in right now. That changed this year. All right, let's see. All right, awesome. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. We've talked about in the past. If you want to go check it out, by all means, go check out some of our videos. All right, so what we're going to talk about here today is identifying a bottom. And actually, we don't even really need to move anywhere past the homepage because everything that you need to know about what to look for a bottom can be found right here on the main homepage here. So there's a few key indicators looking at our overall analysis of the market that we look for. One is the buy to sell ratio and two is the MTI. There's a saying here at VectorVest that we always talk about and you'll hear me say it time and time again. It's keep your eye on the MTI. So there's really two levels that we always look for. When the MTI gets to around 1.5 to 1.6, historically that shows the market's looking for a top. When the market gets to around 0.6 or the MTI gets to around 0.6 or 0.5, that shows the market starting to look for a bottom. As you can see, just a week ago, we were at 1.5. We've been well above that for the last few months, telling us that the market has definitely been top heavy. To be careful, this is why we were giving that guidance here. Now, as you can see, it's quickly fallen. We're heading down towards that 0.6 to 0.5 range. That's really when we know that the market is grossly oversold. And just because we get to that point does not mean it's time to go ahead and jump in. What it means is that that's when we want to start doing our homework. We want to start preparing ourselves and looking for key signs or notices in the market that tells us that the market's starting to rebound or key reversal patterns, things like that. Also, looking at the buy to sell ratio is what we like to call the canary in the coal mine here, because it tells us when the market is grossly overbought and unsustainably overbought. It also tells us when the market's starting to look for a bottom. So historically, when the buy to sell ratio gets to around 0.2 or below, that shows us that the market's grossly oversold and that it's time to start preparing ourselves once again. When you have confirmation of both these, the buy to sell ratio and the MTI, that makes it a whole lot easier for everybody. And I don't recommend or I don't expect everybody to remember that. And that's okay because we do an update for you every single night shown in the daily color guard report at the top. And then on the weekends, on Fridays, the weekly special presentations. These are essential, especially if you're new to VectorVest, to keep up to date with what's going on in the market, preparing yourself for the next trading day, telling you, what headlines you need to be aware of, and making sure that you never get caught off guard by anything that's happening in the market. This is where over the last month or so, we've been advocating to protect profits on up days, be careful of down days, and be, alert that down days are probably going to be coming. And we've seen that over the last week or so. Let's see. I see a lot of people having questions. So I see a lot of people talking about NIO, and we can definitely take a look at that here in a moment. So if you guys want to analyze your stocks, make sure to stick around towards the end. That's when we'll analyze any stock that you want to take a look at. Also, if you're new here, if you've already learned something or just enjoying yourself, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure to share this with all your friends, family. Continue to help grow this group, because the more input I get from you guys, the better the app becomes for you guys as well. All right. So one of the things as well that we talk about, not only here on the homepage by looking at the buy to sell ratio, looking at the MTI, but you can also look at the views, which is a written out version of that video that I just mentioned. But before we take a look at the views, one of the things I want to look at, MTI is at 1.02. Far, far away from the 0.6 that we talked about earlier. Buy to sell ratio, 0.75. Far away from that 0.2 level. So yeah, you're going to have a few up days in a down market, just like you have a few down days in an up market. But keep in mind those key levels, because as you can see, the markets were up today. An emotional investor is going to see, oh, the market was up big yesterday. I may have missed out my opportunity. I'm definitely getting in today if the market's moving higher. So people jumped in right at the very beginning. And as you can see above me with the real-time desktop version, that doesn't look good. As you can see, it's been slowly declining ever since the market opened today. This is why VectorVest is around, because what we try to do is help you become less emotional and more systematic in your approach to investing. Having key indicators to look for, such as the buy to sell ratio and MTI, help remove that emotion of seeing, a big update like we did yesterday and emotionally wanting to jump on board because, everything looks great. Everything's up big. I want to take advantage of it. I don't want to miss the bus, if you will. And if you did that, you're most likely not going to be ahead of the game right now. This is why you got to take a look at the bigger picture to make sure you stay in touch with what your plan is and what you should be doing right now. So I want to make sure that I get this out, because especially with all the new people that were here this morning that were chiming in, this is crucial for making sure you get your portfolio on the right side of things. We'd hate to see you start off seeing, okay, this stock had a buy rating without taking a look at what the market's doing and go ahead and buy it, because that's not what VectorVest is about. Market timing trumps any individual rating on a stock. So when we know those levels and those key tips on what to look for with the buy to sell ratio and the MTI, that can be a huge bonus to you to keep you ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and make sure that not only, are you protecting yourself when the market's starting to sell off like this, but that when the market starts to look for a bottom and everybody's fearful and nobody knows when to get back in, you do, because you have VectorVest on your side. Whether you're traveling, whether you're, out hiking somewhere, whatever you're doing nowadays, if you're out and about, not at your computer, this is a great way to be able to stay in touch with what's going on in the market without having to be, staying at home or staying inside or locked at a computer the whole time. Hey, Maria, well, glad you joined in today, because you're definitely at the right spot then if you want to get back on. Let's see. So with that being said, what again are the trigger points of the BSR markets? Great question. Just in case anybody's just now tuning in. So buy to sell ratio 0.2 and below shows the market is grossly oversold. Now, just like with any technical indicator, let's say stochastics, because that's one of my favorites, so I like to talk about it a lot. Just like with that though, just because it hits the oversold territory does not mean it's going to instantly rebound and shoot higher. It can stay in oversold territory just like it can stay in overbought territory for, a week, 2 weeks, a month and a half, 2 months. But when you see it in those levels, that's why you start preparing. You start taking advantage of the tools, bottom fishing, things that we've talked about in the past. And we'll probably talk about going forward as well for all the new people when it's pertinent to what's going on. But that's when you start preparing yourself. You get your watch list ready. You get your basket of stocks that you like ready. Keep an eye on them and just wait for that, that confirmation for an entry. And that's when you can start jumping back on board. But for now, with the market pulling back, we see some cautionary signs ahead of us. This is a good time to just, stay back from the market a little bit, especially if you're new, and really learn the tools. So that way, when the time comes to really put them into practice, you're more prepared. You're going to help save yourself a lot of time and really get ahead of the game there. Push notification on my phone. Stock has been... So Eric, that would be something you would have to do manually by just checking by, just logging in real quick, taking a look at your watch list. There's no push notifications on that. That is something we've been talking about. We've been kicking around the idea. Unfortunately, I don't have an exact update or, any, real information on that, but it is an idea that we've been looking into and, trying to figure out what would be the best. But unfortunately for right now, the push notifications only show, updates on what's going on or stocks in your watch list or stocks that you've looked at. If they've had big up days or big down days, it'll show, it'll alert you that there's a big change in those. But there's no way to set specific push notifications. So hopefully that answers your question though. All right. So another thing that we like to talk about here is, as somebody brought up at the very beginning of today's session, we're in a bull market. Well, I would disagree. VectorVest would disagree based on our 30 plus years of being around and our analysis of the market. So as I mentioned earlier, you can get to the views here, which gives you a written out detailed report every single night of what's going on. We're going to take a look at Fridays because Fridays is the more detailed version of it. But then if we scroll down here, we get the earnings update. So I'm just going to go ahead. You can read this on your own if you want. If you don't have the app, you can click on the link in the description of the video and download it. If you're already on the app, you can just go to the Fridays views yourself. But I'm just going to quickly summarize here, or just read a few key points. Let's see. Where is it? The graph shows the earnings trend indicator ETI also fell 0.01 point to a level of 0.85. Its first fall after 6 weeks of remaining steady. Of course, we'll keep an eye on this moving forward, but since it's still below 1, the market is in a bear market scenario. So this tells us on an overall broad scale scheme of things in the market, we are not in a bull market. We are in a bear market currently. We've been in a bear market. We talked about a few weeks ago how, the earnings were looking like they were flattening out. We may have, got some hope that we were going to start seeing a blast off again, or that, things were settling down, maybe getting back to normal there. But with that drop that we saw as of yesterday or as of last week, this is where, you start to get a little bit more nervous about the overall longer term perspective for the time being. Now, as always, it could definitely change. But, for right now, we still remain in a bear market scenario. So just like in bull markets, the pullbacks are short-lived. In a bear market, the rallies can be short-lived too. So you got to be aware of what kind of scenario we're in to make sure that your trading plan is adjusted accordingly. App is wrong. So that would disagree with 30 plus years of consistent background there, Hang. The earnings has predicted, or not predicted, but has nailed the 2007, 2008, 2000, 2003, 2016, or 15, I believe, when the oil crash happened. So, we can go back and nitpick, but it's consistently proven itself time and time again to give us early warnings of when the bear markets kick into the market. Even this year alone, we saw it where it warned us, I believe it was in January, 2 months or a month and a half, 2 months prior to the actual drop in the market. We were noticing that big drop. So, you could say it's wrong, but history and facts say otherwise. So, disagree or agree to disagree there, I guess. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today and take a look at the stocks that you want to analyze. I saw a lot of people talking about NIO, and NIO has been a great stock for the last few months or last 6 months or so. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. So first one, NIO. So NIO, this was a stock that has been rocking and rolling, has done phenomenally over the last 6 months. It's gone from, let's go take a look real quick. We're on a 6-month graph. It's gone from $3 a share all the way to $18 a share. That's a huge move. A lot of these tech stocks have gone 400 to 800% in the last 6 months. If you don't think that's overbought, I don't know what is. I've been trading since I was 4 years old. I'm now 32, I believe, if I recall correctly. And I've seen it time and time again over my career here. That is an astronomical rise in a very short period of time. Things like that don't last forever, and the pullbacks on these kind of things will definitely be severe. Just the facts of life there. All right, so NIO, though, has poor long-term potential. It has a lot of risk associated with it, no surprise. But it has been in a really strong uptrend. So if you're a speculative investor or speculative trader, this is definitely a good stock to trade. It's not a long-term investor or long-term investment currently. But because of that strong momentum, it definitely makes the stock favorable for right now, as long as you're more of a speculative trader. All right, let's see what else we got. We got a lot of stocks coming in to analyze today. So RH, let's go ahead and take a look. There we go. RH, you have good long-term potential. You have great fun, or you have less risk associated with it. You have a really strong uptrend, definitely favorable there. For anybody new, just to make sure everybody, I forgot to go over it on the first one, everybody's comfortable with the analysis, we'll use this as our example. So the first one is the RV, or relative value. This is looking at the long-term potential over the next 1 to 3 years. The next is the RS, or simply the risk factor, the relative safety. Above 1, less risk. Below 1, more risk. RT, short-term price trend. Above 1, uptrend. Below 1, downtrend. VST is a combination of all three of those wrapped into one. So overall, the stock is favorable. Now, all of these are cast on a scale of 0 to 2. So above 1 is good, below 1 is bad. If you can remember that, VectorVest is going to make your life a lot simpler. So yeah, up 22% here today. Yeah, RH is rocking and rolling. Has good fundamentals, really strong uptrend. Stock looks good. If you're in it right now, then this would be a stock you'd probably continue to stick with for right now for the time being. If you're not already into it, this is one that, wait for the buying opportunity, wait for the overall market to tell us it's a good time to buy before jumping on board. All right, let's see NVDA. And I see a lot of people just coming in here over the last few minutes. So if you're brand new, if you're just tuning in, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button. All that helps me out, continues to grow our VV high flyers here on Facebook. And if you haven't already turned on notifications and turned on the alerts, head over to the Facebook page and make sure to turn those notifications on. So that way you stay up to date with what's going on here. So looking at NVIDIA, great long-term potential. You have really solid fundamentals or earnings, nice steady uptrend. So yeah, overall the stock's still favorable. JCP, I haven't seen that one in quite some time. I didn't realize it now is a pink sheet here. That's how long it's been since I've last looked at this one. All right, so JCPenney's poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. You do have, some speculative uptrend currently going on with it on a short-term basis. Therefore, the stock's about average. Realistically, if you're going to take a speculative trade like that, you need to see that RT a little bit higher, usually around 1.4 to 1.5 or higher is what you're going to, look for if you're a speculative trader on that. All right, let's see. INTC. Hey, John, glad to see you here today. All right, so INTC, you have good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Unfortunately, the timing is just not there. Timing tells us it's in a steady decline, so therefore, even though the stock has good fundamentals, it's just not the time to buy it. NGA. Not seeing NGA, so we'll do the next one. IEA. IEA, good long-term potential. You do have a lot of risk associated with it though, but a really strong uptrend currently, so therefore the stock's definitely favorable right now. And by favorable, let me make sure I clarify, especially since we had a lot of new people here today. By favorable, I simply mean that, if you're already in the stock, then, you're keeping it, maybe paying attention to it a little closer, not really making any changes to it. If you're not already in the stock, the market is telling us do not buy any stocks today. So therefore, regardless if the stock is favorable or not right now, simply hold off from buying it. Wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people get that confused. And since a lot of new people are just tuning in, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page there. All right. NGD. There we go. So New Gold, you have good long-term potential. You do have some risk associated with it though. Really, really strong uptrend. So yeah, the stock's definitely favorable here. Let's see. LOW. LOW, you have good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You're still in a nice steady uptrend. Therefore, the stock's still favorable. Let's see. Missed one. Oh, missed it. AZUL. Give me 1 second here. All right. AZUL. Good long-term potential, but a lot of risk associated with it. You have a really good short-term uptrend. Therefore, the stock's favorable. NKLA. Oh. There we go. All right, NKLA. Poor long-term potential. A lot of risk associated with it. You're in a steady decline. Therefore, the stock is definitely not favorable. Netflix. NFLX. Man. Really having a hard time typing today. All right, Netflix, you have great long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You're about flat on the short-term basis, so you may be definitely keeping an eye on this one, being cautious with it, but the stock's still favorable for the time being. SFIX. SFIX, you have poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. You're in a short-term uptrend, but not enough of an uptrend to really make the stock favorable right now. Hey, no problem, Dale. Glad to have you here today. Let's see. GLD. So GLD, okay, perfect example. This is going to be an ETF. So with ETFs, the RV and RS are always going to be pegged at 1. Because with an ETF, you don't have quarterly earnings, you don't have balance sheets to analyze. So therefore, the fundamentals are always going to be at 1. Therefore, when looking at ETFs, VectorVest makes it simple. You either need to know whether it's making money or losing money. So therefore, you look at the RT. 1.16 tells in a short-term uptrend. Therefore, GLD is still favorable right now. FNGU. FNGU, another ETF. Therefore, you go right to the RT, 1.23, short-term uptrend. Therefore, still favorable. Also, I want to give a big shout out to you guys for last week, all my high flyers out there, talking about Tesla and Zoom. Traded some put options on them, very short term. Got in after our session on Thursday, got out Friday morning, and was pretty happy with the returns on that. Also, I see a lot of people talking about NIO. I traded that recently. I traded it yesterday. Bought the calls on it. Didn't make as much as I wanted to, but you know, hey, profit's a profit, a win's a win. I'll take it. For a day, not a bad trade. You know, made about 10% in a couple hours, but I wish it was more. But yeah, so because of you guys, you know, this is what the group's about, is talking about different stocks, looking at different stocks, giving you guys some ideas on how to take advantage of them. We were talking about the market selling off. So, you know, I just wanted to give a personal example of how this group works, how our live streams work, and how you guys can personally benefit from what we talk about week in and week out here. All right, so let's go ahead. PRPL, get back into it. PRPL, great long-term potential, but that potential comes with a lot of risk. You have a steady uptrend, so therefore the stock's still favorable right now. Hang, if you're looking for tips on when to sell, go check out some of our videos. We've definitely got a lot of those on, a lot of key tips on knowing when to sell, from, you know, using indicators here in VectorVest, using technical analysis, candlesticks, a lot of different things there. Lulu, you have good long-term potential, solid fundamentals. Unfortunately, it's in a slight decline right now, so the stock's still favorable, but timing is telling us that we should probably be more defensive right now. Leslie's asking, how can I configure the scanner to select stocks when two moving averages cross up or down? So Leslie, if you're talking about for the desktop, give our support a call. They can help you create that. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to get into the software, the VectorVest 7 software, to really build that for you, but it shouldn't be very hard. Just give our support a call. They can walk you right through it. SHLL. All right, SHLL, you have poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, so this is a speculative stock. You have a really strong uptrend right now on a short-term basis. Therefore, the stock's a little bit better than average. But as a speculator, technical analysis is going to be one of your best friends, and timing is going to be everything on your entries and exits. All right, NVAX, great long-term potential, but a lot of risk associated with it. You're in a really strong decline, so therefore, you know, stock's about average, but with the RT below 1, you're going to definitely be staying away from this one. Also, just as a key tip, since we're looking at a stock like this, once you buy a stock and you're actually owning a stock, the most important indicator is not going to be the RV or the RS, the fundamental indicators. The most important indicator is going to be the RT, because that tells you whether or not the stock is making you money or losing you money. If it's below 1, the stock is in a downtrend, or another way of thinking about it is the stock is losing you money. If the stock has an RT above 1, it tells us the stock is in an uptrend or making us money. And so therefore, if you're actually holding some of these that I'm analyzing for you, and you ever see the RT below 1 like this one, that is the most important indicator to focus on if you actually own the stock. Just want to throw that out there. FDX. All right, FDX, you have poor long-term potential, about average fundamentals though, or about average safety. You have a really strong uptrend right now, so therefore the stock is favorable. Let's see, AZN. AstraZeneca, poor long-term potential, a little bit better than average safety involved with the stock, but it's in a steady decline. Therefore, the stock is not favorable. Tesla, TSLA, good long-term potential, solid fundamentals, steady uptrend. Overall, the stock's favorable. Let's see, Nokia, how so you see that stock in 3 years. NOK. So NOK, you have good long-term potential over the next 1 to 3 years. But the kicker is you have a lot of risk to get that potential. So you can see a lot of volatility in the stocks, inconsistent earnings, those types of things. But for right now, it's in a steady decline. Therefore, the stock is not favorable. Yeah, we just did. Okay, I'm a little bit behind on that. Let's see. MIK. Let me just catch up a little bit. And if I miss some of the requests here, I do apologize. But hey, that's the thing is if you're already a subscriber, just pull up the app, click on the little magnifying glass in the upper right, type in your symbols. You can do the same analysis wherever you're at. If you're not already a subscriber, click on the link in the description, download it, give it 2-week free, take advantage of the 2-week free trial. Seeing is believing, put it to use. There's no doubt in my mind that once you take a look at it and you start putting it into practice or you start seeing what it has to offer, you're not going to want to keep it. Or you're going to want to keep it. So, yeah, that's the best advice. All right. MIK, average long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but you do have a really strong short-term uptrend. So therefore the stock's favorable. Apple has good long-term potential, solid fundamentals, no surprise there. Steady uptrend. Overall, the stock's favorable. RWT has poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a slight uptrend, but not enough to make the stock favorable. So Curtis is asking about the stop price. Great question, Curtis. So let's do FCX real quick. That's the next stock that somebody had a question on. So that stop price you see in the upper right-hand corner is based upon a 13-week moving average, relatively conservative, that's adjusted for the company's fundamentals. So if they have strong fundamentals or good fundamentals, we'll lower that 13-week moving average up to get that sell signal a little later, give it more room to run essentially. If it has poor fundamentals, we'll tighten that 13-week moving average closer to that price, so that way it triggers that sell signal faster. But regardless of whether it has or whether has good fundamentals or poor fundamentals, the stop price is a final line in the sand. It's basically like a backup plan for you. Most likely you're going to have stops put in place based upon your own personal or your own price that you paid for it. You're going to have some money management rules in place. And let's just say you were out traveling or something happened. You forgot to set up your stops. You come in, you see it's below that stop price. That's telling you either need to sell now or hold at your own risk. And that's really the thing with the stop price. It's not a recommended sell point because 13-week moving average is fairly conservative and can give the stock a lot of leeway. So the stop price is a backup plan or a final line in the sand if you don't already have a stop in place, or if you do have a stop in place, it's there to remind you or give you a warning if something happened with the stops you had in place and they didn't trigger or something happened there. Beyond basics, sure, Bradley, we can take a look, but real quick, Freeport, you have good long-term potential. You do have a lot of risk with it though. Really strong uptrend. So overall, stock's favorable. Let's see, what was that? Beyond basics, BEY. Not seeing that one. So let me know if there's a specific ticker symbol there. REGI, good long-term potential. I think we already did this one, but just in case, great long-term potential, solid fundamentals, really strong uptrend. Overall, the stock's definitely favorable. Let's see. What's going on? RKT. Also, if you haven't already hit that like button, folks, make sure to do so right now. Bottom left-hand corner of this video if you're on your phone, or if you're watching on your computer, click that thumbs up button right now for me because all that helps me out as well. And don't forget to hit the share button on the right side as well. Share it with your friends, share it publicly, get this out there. Let everybody know that VectorVest is available to them and how much it can help them. If you like VectorVest, if you've already been a user for a while and it's helped you make money, hit that share button. It's the least you could do to help somebody else learn how to get their investments on track. All right, so RKT, good long-term potential, but a lot of risk to get to that potential. Looking at the timing, it's below 1, telling us it's in a downtrend. Overall, the stock's average, but with the timing below 1, not the time to be into it. WKHS, Workhorse. So poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but it's been on a tear recently. Really strong uptrend. Therefore, for you speculative traders out there, because I know there's a lot of you guys here, it's definitely a buy, or it's definitely a favorable right now. Which one are you looking for, Bradley? Let's see, GOLD. So GOLD, good long-term potential. About average risk associated with it, though. Strong uptrend. Therefore, the stock's favorable. All right, we'll do 2 more for the day, then we'll start to wrap it up. So F for Ford, definitely take a look at that. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a slight uptrend, therefore the stock's average at best. And then finally, Plug, PLUG. So looking at Plug, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but speculators trading paradise right now. Really strong short-term uptrend, therefore favorable for you speculative traders out there. So once again, folks, if I didn't get to analyze your stocks today, I do apologize. There's a lot of requests coming in. Either, tune in next week as we kick off another session at 11 a.m. Eastern, or if you're already a subscriber, just tap on the magnifying glass in the upper right, type in your symbols wherever you're at, and you can go ahead and analyze your stocks just like we're doing here. Or even better, if you're not already a subscriber, click on the link in the description of this live stream here today. Download it, take out the 2-week free trial, give it a shot, put it to the test. Once you see how powerful this app is, you'll never think about ever getting rid of it, and you'll question probably how you went this long without utilizing the Stock Advisory app. So if we go back, take a look at the homepage real quick. We can see right now we're still 3 ticks into the yellow, so we've improved a little bit, but we still don't advocate buying any stocks at this time. 3 yellow lights across the board. Advances to declines, basically flat still. Indices maybe improved a little bit, but not by much. So on that note, folks, thank you once again for all your support. Thank you guys for all being here. It's been my pleasure being with you all today. I hope you have a great rest of your trading day. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And make sure, if you haven't already, hit that share button, hit that like button to do so now. And go ahead and like the Facebook page as well. Turn on notifications so that way, anytime we go live, you guys get updates on that. So my name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. We'll see you all next week. Bye for now, everybody.